Absurd. Ridiculously unreasonable or illogical. It was absurd to think that he could finish the entire project in one day. Wearing a winter coat in the middle of summer seemed completely absurd. The notion of a flying elephant seemed utterly absurd to everyone at the zoo. The idea of living on Mars seems absurd, but some scientists believe it's possible. Acerbic. Sharp or biting in tone or manner, harsh. His acerbic remarks during the meeting left everyone feeling uneasy. The critic's acerbic review crushed the young artist's spirits, yet motivated her. Her acerbic fatalism has been her literary signature for more than 4 decades. She was known for her acerbic wit, often making sharp comments in conversation. Acrimonious. Angry and bitter in speech or behavior. Their once strong friendship ended in an acrimonious argument over money. The debate turned acrimonious when personal insults were highly exchanged. Their divorce was bitter and acrimonious, with heated arguments in court daily. The acrimonious link between the two leaders hindered any progress in negotiations. Ambiguous. Open to more than one interpretation. The instructions were so ambiguous that nobody knew exactly what to do next. Her ambiguous feelings towards the project made it hard for the team to proceed. His response to the question was deliberately ambiguous, leaving everyone confused. The ending of the novel is ambiguous, allowing readers to draw their own conclusions. Ambivalent. Having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas. She felt ambivalent about the job offer, torn between excitement and doubt. He was ambivalent about moving to a new city, unsure if it was the right choice. The students were ambivalent about the new rules, seeing both pros and cons. His ambivalent outlook towards the proposal left his colleagues uncertain of his support. Apathetic. Showing or feeling little or no emotion or interest. She was apathetic about the outcome, having lost interest in the issue long ago. He remained apathetic during the discussion, showing little interest in the topic. The students were apathetic towards the subject, showing little enthusiasm in class. The community's voters have become increasingly apathetic over the last several years. Apprehensive. Fearful about something that might happen. The team was apprehensive as they awaited the results of the crucial match. The soldiers were apprehensive before the battle, knowing the risks involved. She felt apprehensive about the upcoming interview and unsure of what to expect. Despite her apprehensive nature, she decided to take the leap and start her own trade. Audacious. Bold or daring, that is shocking or disrespectful. The thief made an audacious escape from the police right in front of everyone. The entrepreneur's audacious vision led to groundbreaking business innovation. Her audacious plan to overhaul the company's entire strategy took everyone by surprise. Despite the risks, he made an audacious decision to invest all his savings into the startup. Authoritarian. Enforcing strict obedience to authority. His authoritarian father rarely allowed him to express his own opinions freely. The authoritarian regime suppressed any form of opposition among its citizens. The authoritarian leader ruled with an iron fist, allowing no room for disagreement. The teacher's authoritarian approach to discipline was met with resistance from students. Bitter. Feeling or showing anger, hurt, or resentment. His bitter words during the argument hurt her deeply, despite their long friendship. After losing the championship game, the team felt a bitter sense of disappointment. Despite the bitter cold, the soldiers pressed on, determined to complete their mission. The winter wind was bitter, cutting through their coats and chilling them to the bone. Blunt. Not sharp or pointed, also, not straightforward. He appreciated his friend's blunt honesty, even though the truth was hard to hear. The CEO's blunt remarks about the company's performance shocked the employees. The teacher's blunt feedback helped the student realize where he needed to improve. Her blunt honesty was sometimes refreshing, but often it made others uncomfortable. Candid. Truthful and straightforward, frank. She gave a candid interview, revealing details about her life that few knew. She appreciated his candid feedback, even though it was hard to hear the truth. The photographer captured a candid moment between the couple at the wedding. Their candid discussion about the project's challenges led to important breakthroughs. Capricious. Given sudden changes in mood or behavior. The capricious weather in the region made it difficult to plan outdoor events. The artist's capricious inspiration led to a diverse and unpredictable body of work. She was known for her capricious tastes in fashion, shifting from one style to another. The weather in the mountains is capricious, changing from sunny to stormy in minutes. Cliché. An overused phrase or idea that has lost its originality. The movie was full of clichés, making the plot predictable and unoriginal. The book tried to avoid clichés, but some of the dialogue still felt foreseeable. While the plot was full of clichés, the strong performances made the film enjoyable. Using the phrase, "better late than never," is such a cliché, yet people say it all the time. Colloquial. Informal language or expressions used in conversation. The book's colloquial dialogue captured the authentic voices of the characters. His speech was filled with colloquial expressions that made it easy to understand. Colloquial language is often used in informal settings, like conversations with friends. The professor's use of colloquial terms helped make complex concepts more relatable. Comic. Related to comedy, amusing or entertaining. The comic strip in the newspaper became a daily favorite for many readers. His comic timing during the performance had the audience laughing throughout. The comic relief in the movie provided a much-needed break from the intense action. During the long flight, he entertained himself by reading a digital comic on his tablet. Complimentary. Expressing praise, provided free of charge. She received many complimentary remarks on her new dress at the party. The two colors were complementary, creating a pleasing contrast in the design. She received a complimentary comment on her outfit, boosting her confidence. She received a complimentary ticket to the concert after winning a local radio contest. Condemnatory. Expressing strong disapproval or criticism. Her condemnatory tone left no doubt that she disapproved of the proposal. The article was highly condemnatory of the government's handling of the crisis. The judge's condemnatory remarks left no doubt about the severity of the sentence. The public's reaction was largely condemnatory, with widespread calls for accountability. Contemptuous. Showing contempt or disdain, scornful. His contemptuous tone made it clear that he had no respect for their opinions. The contemptuous way he spoke about others made him few friends in the group. The politician's contemptuous remarks about his opponents alienated many voters. Her contemptuous attitude to the new policies led to a heated debate in the meeting. Critical. Expressing disapproval, also, involving careful analysis. It's critical to address the issues in the project plan before the final presentation. The patient was in critical condition after the accident, requiring immediate care. Her role in the team is critical because she manages all the key client relationships. The critics' critical review of the play highlighted both its strengths and weaknesses. Derogatory. Showing a critical or disrespectful attitude. His derogatory comments about the team created a hostile work environment. Using derogatory language in any context can harm relationships and reputations. She was offended by the derogatory remarks made about her cultural background. He tried to ignore the derogatory whispers from the crowd, focusing instead on his task. Detached. Emotionally uninvolved, indifferent. The scientist took a detached approach to the research, focusing solely on facts. The artist's detached perspective allowed him to create a painting that felt satisfying. He felt emotionally detached from the group, needing some time alone to regain his calm. She adopted a detached manner during the meeting, making it difficult to gauge her feelings. Domineering. Asserting one's will over others in an arrogant way. His domineering attitude made it difficult for others to express their opinions. She struggled to work under a domineering boss who micromanaged everything. She was often seen as domineering, constantly trying to control the conversation. The group was frustrated by the domineering chairperson who disregarded their input. Dramatic. Relating to drama, also, striking or emotionally intense. She has a flair for the dramatic, often making small issues seem like major crises. His dramatic reaction to the news was completely unexpected by everyone around. The weather took a dramatic turn, with sudden storms sweeping through the region. The team's dramatic comeback in the final minutes of the game secured their victory. Dubious. Doubtful or uncertain, questionable. He gave me a dubious look when I told him I could finish the project in one day. Her dubious explanation about missing the deadline did not convince her manager. The offer seemed too good to be true, making her feel dubious about its legitimacy. The scientist remained dubious about the new theory until further research was directed. Earnest. Showing sincere and intense conviction. His earnest plea for help moved everyone in the room to offer assistance. He approached the project with an earnest dedication that impressed his colleagues. His earnest desire to help others led him to volunteer for several charity organizations. Their earnest discussion about the future showed their commitment to the relationship. Egotistical. Excessively self-centered or self-important. The manager's egotistical behavior created a toxic environment at the workplace. The celebrity's egotistical remarks about their success annoyed fans and critics alike. Her egotistical nature was evident, as she always found a way to make it about herself. He was so egotistical that he couldn't accept any criticism or suggestions from others. Elated. Extremely happy or proud, in high spirits. Winning the award made her feel elated for the recognition of her hard work. After receiving the job offer, Maria felt elated and couldn't stop smiling all day. Her elated mood was evident as she shared the exciting news with all her relatives. The team was elated after winning the championship, celebrating late into the night. Eloquent. Fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing. The book's eloquent prose captured the beauty of the landscape perfectly. His eloquent letter of apology helped mend the strained relationship between them. The president's eloquent address on unity inspired a sense of hope across the nation. The professor's eloquent explanation of the theories made the subject more accessible. Empathetic. Understanding and sharing the feelings of another. She was an empathetic listener, always understanding and comforting her friends. The doctor's empathetic approach made her patients feel favored and understood. She was praised for her empathetic leadership style, which raised a caring work setting. His empathetic response to the economic crisis showed his deep concern for those affected. Enchant. To captivate or delight greatly. The fairy lights strung across the garden enchanted everyone at the evening party. She was enchanted by the stunning view from the mountaintop, unable to look away. Her captivating smile and dance seemed to enchant everyone who viewed her perform. The old castle's mysterious aura enchanted visitors, drawing them into its magical history. Enthusiastic. Showing intense and eager enjoyment or interest. Her enthusiastic response to the job offer showed just how motivated she was. The children were full of enthusiastic about their field trip to the Science Museum. The fans remained enthusiastic, cheering loudly for their team throughout the match. He gave an enthusiastic presentation, capturing the attention of everyone in the room. Euphoric. Feeling intense happiness or excitement. The euphoric atmosphere at the concert made it an unforgettable experience. She was euphoric after completing her first marathon, a goal she had for months. She felt euphoric after receiving the acceptance letter from her dream university. He felt euphoric after hearing that his hard work had paid off with a big promotion. Evasive. Tending to avoid commitment or self-disclosure. The politician was criticized for being evasive during the press conference. The politician's evasive tactics frustrated reporters who wanted clear answers. His evasive answers during the interview made the committee doubtful of his motive. She was evasive when asked about her plans for the weekend, avoiding a direct response. Exuberant. Cheerful and full of energy. His exuberant personality made him the life of every party he attended. The crowd was exuberant, celebrating their team's victory with cheers and chants. The children were exuberant as they played in the park, laughing and running around. Her exuberant nature made her the life of the party, instantly lifting everyone's spirits. Factual. Based on or concerned with facts. The report was filled with factual information, leaving no room for speculation. His report was detailed and factual, providing clear evidence for his conclusions. The documentary presented a factual account of the events, avoiding sensationalism. It's vital to ensure that the data presented in your paper is both accurate and factual. Fanciful. Imaginative and unrealistic, whimsical. Her designs were always a bit fanciful, with imaginative patterns and colors. The report was purely factual, presenting the data without any personal opinions. The artist's paintings had a fanciful quality, with fanciful lands and dreamlike scenes. The novel's plot was too fanciful for some readers, who preferred more realistic fiction. Farcical. Absurdly ridiculous or incongruous. His fanciful stories entertained the children, though they knew they weren't true. The farcical situation at the meeting had everyone laughing, despite the serious topic. The play was a farcical comedy, full of absurd situations and exaggerated characters. The meeting quickly turned farcical when the members started arguing over trivial details. Fervent. Having or displaying a passionate intensity. She was a fervent supporter of the cause, dedicating her time and resources. He made a fervent promise to improve his skills and determined to meet his goals. The fervent support of the fans was evident as they cheered loudly throughout the game. The artist worked with a fervent devotion to perfecting his masterpiece, losing track of time. Flippant. Not showing a serious or respectful attitude. His flippant remarks during the serious discussion upset many of his colleagues. The teacher didn't appreciate the student's flippant response to a crucial question. His flippant comment about the budget cuts did little to reassure the financial stability. Despite his flippant attitude toward the project, he still managed to deliver exciting results. Gloomy. Dark or poorly lit, showing sadness or pessimism. Her mood was as gloomy as the dark, rain-soaked streets outside the window. A gloomy silence filled the room after he delivered the unexpected, tragic news. The old house had a gloomy atmosphere, with its dusty furniture and faded curtains. The gloomy clouds gathered, casting a shadow over the once bright and cheerful town. Grand. Magnificent or impressive in appearance or style. The king's grand vision for the kingdom inspired the citizens to work together. The grand chandelier sparkled brightly, casting a warm glow over the entire ballroom. She had grand dreams of traveling the world, exploring every continent with excitement. The mansion was as grand inside as it was outside, with lavish furnishings in every room. Histrionic. Overly dramatic or theatrical in behavior or speech. His histrionic behavior during the argument made it difficult to take him seriously. The meeting was disrupted by a histrionic argument that derailed the discussion. Her histrionic reaction to the minor inconvenience made everyone uncomfortable. The actor's histrionic performance was over the top and not well received by the critics. Hostile. Aggressive or unfriendly and ready to argue or fight. The discussion quickly turned hostile, with both sides refusing to compromise. The negotiations were marred by a hostile exchange between the two leaders. She felt a hostile undercurrent in the group, even though no one said anything directly. The hostile takeover of the company left many staff feeling uncertain about their future. Humorous. Funny or causing laughter and amusement. His humorous attempt to explain the situation only confused everyone further. The book was full of humorous anecdotes that kept readers laughing throughout. She has a humorous way of looking at life, always finding something to laugh about. His humorous anecdotes during the exhibition kept the audience engaged and amused. Inflammatory. Likely to provoke strong emotions, particularly anger. The article contained inflammatory language that was meant to provoke readers. His inflammatory remarks during the debate sparked outrage among the audience. Her inflammatory comments on social media caused a backlash from many customers. The politician's inflammatory rhetoric only served to deepen the conflicts in the society. Insipid. Not interesting, lacking flavor or interest. The movie was criticized for its insipid plot and uninteresting characters. She found the conversation insipid, with nothing of substance being discussed. His insipid speech failed to inspire the audience, leaving them bored and disengaged. The movie was visually stunning, but had an insipid storyline that didn't hold my interest. Intimate. Having a very close relationship, warm and friendly. The small, intimate wedding was exactly what the couple had always wanted. They had an intimate conversation, sharing their deepest thoughts and feelings. His intimate knowledge of the subject was evident in the way he spoke about it. They had an intimate conversation late into the night, sharing their deepest thoughts. Introspective. Inclined to examine one's own thoughts. Her introspective nature often led her to ponder the deeper meanings of life. His introspective nature often led him to deep reflections on life and purpose. Her writing became more introspective, focusing on her inner thoughts and feelings. He became more introspective after the incident, spending time reflecting on his actions. Laudatory. Expressing praise and commendation. The critic's review was laudatory, praising the film's direction and performances. He wrote a laudatory article about the achievements of the local community group. She received laudatory comments from her professor on her well-researched paper. The team was greeted with laudatory applause as they accepted the contest trophy. Lofty. High in position or elevated in character or style. He set lofty goals for himself, determined to achieve greatness in his career. Her lofty ambitions often made her lose sight of the smaller, more immediate tasks. The company's lofty mission statement promised to change the world for the better. The cathedral's lofty spires could be seen from miles away, a testament to its grandeur. Lyrical. Expressing emotions in an imaginative and lovely way. His lyrical descriptions of the landscape painted a vivid picture in the reader's mind. The poet's lyrical verses captured the beauty of nature in a way that moved readers. The author's lyrical prose brought the story to life with vivid and emotional imagery. The film soundtrack was praised for its lyrical quality, adding the visuals perfectly. Melancholic. feeling or displaying sadness or sorrow. The melancholic melody of the song brought back memories of lost loves. The painting had a melancholic beauty, evoking feelings of nostalgia and sorrow. His melancholic thoughts often led him to dwell on the past rather than the future. She often wrote in a melancholic style, capturing the sadness of the human experience. Melodramatic. Exaggeratedly emotional or sentimental. He tends to be melodramatic, making even small problems seem like major crises. The melodramatic dialogue in the play detracted from the seriousness of the theme. She tends to be melodramatic, making small problems seem like the end of the world. The movie was criticized for its melodramatic plot, which felt overdone and unrealistic. Pedantic. Overly concerned with minute details or rules. She often became pedantic, focusing on trivial details instead of the big picture. His pedantic insistence on following every rule to the letter frustrated his colleagues. His pedantic correction of every minor mistake made conversations with him exhausting. The professor's pedantic approach to teaching made the subject less exciting for students. Pensive. Engaged in, or reflecting deep or serious thought. His pensive expression suggested he was deep in thought about something important. She sat by the window, looking pensive as she pondered the decision she had to make. The pensive silence in the room suggested that everyone was lost in their own thoughts. Poignant. Evoking a strong sense of sadness or regret. The poignant scene in the movie brought tears to the eyes of everyone watching. His poignant words at the funeral captured the deep sorrow everyone was feeling. She shared a poignant memory from her childhood that moved everyone in the room. The poignant reunion between the soldier and his family brought everyone to their feet. Pompous. Pretentiously grand or self-important. The pompous speech was filled with grandiose statements but lacked substance. She found his pompous manner irritating, especially when he talked down to others. He was criticized for his pompous behavior, always acting as if he was better than others. He delivered his opinions with a pompous air as if he was the only one who knew the truth. Pretentious. Attempting to impress by affecting greater importance. The restaurant's pretentious menu images didn't match the ordinary food they served. The pretentious art gallery was more focused on looks than on the quality of the work. She found the book pretentious, with its overly complex language and vague references. Provocative. Attempting to impress by affecting greater importance. Her provocative outfit turned heads and sparked conversations at the event. The book's provocative ideas pushed readers to think differently about the subject. The artist's provocative work challenged traditional views and sparked heated debates. Her provocative comments during the debate stirred up strong reactions from the group. Psychotic. Pertaining to mental illness affecting perception. The film portrayed the villain as a psychotic mastermind, bent on chaos and ruin. The psychotic episode left him unable to distinguish between reality and his delusions. The patient was diagnosed with a psychotic disorder and began treatment immediately. The movie's villain was portrayed as a psychotic individual, driven by irrational impulses. Sinister. Suggesting or threatening harm or evil. The plot revealed a sinister conspiracy that threatened the fate of the entire world. His sinister smile made her feel uneasy, as if he was planning something malicious. The abandoned house had a sinister air, as if something terrible had happened there. The plot of the novel revolves around a sinister conspiracy that threatens the creation. Skeptical. Doubtful or questioning, not easily convinced. The scientist remained skeptical of the results, demanding more rigorous testing. She was skeptical of the new treatment, having heard mixed reviews from others. His skeptical attitude made him question everything, even the simplest explanations. Despite the evidence, she remained skeptical, unwilling to believe without further proof. Somber. Dark or dull in tone, serious and gloomy. She spoke in a somber voice, acknowledging the challenges that lay ahead. His somber tone during the announcement indicated that the news was not good. The painting's dark colors and heavy brushstrokes conveyed a somber atmosphere. The somber weather matched the sadness he felt on the anniversary of his father's death. Sophomoric. Pretentiously or superficially knowledgeable, immature. His sophomoric jokes were more annoying than funny to the rest of the group. The comedian's sophomoric jokes failed to impress the more mature audience. Her sophomoric pranks annoyed her roommates, who wished she would grow up. His sophomoric conduct during the meeting made it hard for anyone to take him seriously. Tense. Nervous or strained, also, stretched tight. His tense posture revealed how nervous he was about the upcoming interview. She felt tense as she prepared to give her speech in front of a large audience. The tense standoff between the two sides could erupt into violence at any moment. The atmosphere in the room was tense as they waited for the results to be announced. Wrathful. Showing anger in an extremely furious way. Her wrathful response to the insult surprised everyone, as she was usually calm. The storm seemed wrathful, with winds and rain lashing at the windows with fury. The wrathful storm tore through the town, leaving a path of destruction in its wake. The wrathful god in the myth punished those who disobeyed with terrifying penalties. Harsh. Unpleasant and difficult to accept or experience. She was known for her harsh, no-nonsense approach to managing her team. Nature can be harsh and unforgiving, especially in the remote parts of the desert. His harsh criticism stung, though it was meant to encourage better work in the future. The teacher's harsh tone silenced the class immediately, bringing an end to the chatter. Hilarious. Extremely funny and causing a lot of laughter. The situation was so ridiculous that it became totally hilarious to everyone involved. The hilarious confusion had us all confused before we realized what actually happened. His hilarious impersonations of famous actors never fail to amuse us at family gatherings. Despite the serious situation, his comment was hilariously inapt, causing awkward laughter. Impartial. Able to judge or consider something fairly. The judge was known for being impartial and treating all cases with equal fairness. It's challenging to remain impartial when close friends are involved in the argument. His impartial attitude during the debate earned him respect from both opposing sides. The reviewer remained impartial, wisely weighing both sides of the dispute before deciding. Ironic. Characterized by the opposite of what is expected. The ironic twist at the end of the story left readers both surprised and amused. How ironic that he criticized others for being late, but then missed the event himself. It's ironic how technology meant to connect us often leaves people feeling more isolated. The irony of the situation became clear when the rain started during their drought speech. Ludicrous. Absurd to the point of being laughable. His ludicrous proposal to solve the problem was met with laughter by the team. The proposal seemed ludicrous until someone pointed out its hidden practicality. Her ludicrous outfit made her stand out in the most unexpected and comical way. His suggestion to solve the problem was so ludicrous that no one took him seriously. Malicious. intended to do harm or cause suffering. She couldn't believe the malicious lies that were being spread about her. Malicious gossip can destroy friendships and reputations in a matter of minutes. There was something unsettling about his malicious smile when he talked about his plan. He faced malicious accusations that damaged his career before the truth finally came out. Mournful. Feeling or expressing sadness or sorrow. The mournful tune of the violin filled the room with a deep sense of sorrow. The mournful melody played at the funeral brought tears to everyone's eyes. She had a mournful expression as she looked at the old photographs of her childhood. His mournful gaze followed her as she walked away, knowing it was the last goodbye. Nostalgic. Longing for or thinking fondly of a past time or condition. The reunion was filled with nostalgic memories of their past school days. The old photo album filled her with nostalgic memories of family and happy times. Listening to that song always makes me feel nostalgic for my carefree teenage years. A nostalgic smile crossed her face as she recalled the summer days spent at the beach. Ominous. Impression that something bad is going to happen. The ominous music in the background added to the suspense of the scene. His ominous words lingered in her mind, casting a shadow over her thoughts. The ominous silence before the storm left everyone feeling uneasy and tense. Dark, ominous clouds gathered overhead, signaling the storm that was about to hit. Optimistic. Hopeful and confident about the future. The team was optimistic about their chances in the upcoming competition. The optimistic forecast for the economy gave investors confidence to take bold steps. Despite the setbacks, he remained optimistic that they could finish the project on time. He was optimistic about the future, believing things would improve with time and effort. Placid. Calm and peaceful, not easily upset. His placid demeanor made him a calming presence in the midst of chaos. She found the placid countryside to be a welcome escape from the busy city life. His placid demeanor remained unchanged even when chaos erupted all around him. The placid waters of the river barely made a sound as they flowed gently downstream. Reminiscent. Making you remember a certain person, event, or thing. The painting was reminiscent of the works of the great Impressionist artists. The vintage decor was reminiscent of the 1950s, evoking a sense of nostalgia. His voice was reminiscent of the old jazz singers from the golden era of music. Her laughter was reminiscent of carefree summer days spent with friends by the beach. Reticent. Reserved or reluctant to speak or express oneself. His reticent nature made it difficult for him to express his true feelings openly. She was reticent about sharing personal details with people she didn't know well. The witness was reticent, reluctant to reveal what they knew about the incident. The reticent witness was hesitant to speak, clearly uneasy in the crowded courtroom. Reverent. Showing deep respect or admiration. She spoke in a reverent whisper, not wanting to disturb the peace of the temple. The ceremony was conducted with a reverent respect for the traditions of the past. His reverent tone when discussing his mentors showed deep respect and admiration. The church was filled with a reverent atmosphere during the solemn Sunday service. Righteous. Conforming to a standard of what is right and good. His righteous anger was justified by the injustice he had witnessed firsthand. She stood firm in her righteous belief that everyone deserves equal treatment. The character was portrayed as righteous, always standing up for what was right. His righteous actions earned him the respect and admiration of the entire community. Romantic. Expressing love or idealized emotion. The romantic setting by the lake was perfect for their quiet evening together. The novel was filled with romantic moments that captured the essence of true love. He planned a romantic surprise for her, complete with roses and a handwritten note. The couple enjoyed a romantic dinner under the stars, celebrating their anniversary. Sanguine. Positive, especially in difficult situations. Her sanguine outlook on life helped her navigate difficult situations with grace. Despite the setbacks, she remained sanguine about the project's eventual success. The team was sanguine about their chances of winning the championship this year. She was sanguine, trusting that everything would work out for the best eventually. Sarcastic. Using irony to mock or convey contempt. She gave a sarcastic smile, knowing he wouldn't understand the joke anyway. His sarcastic comments during the meeting did nothing to improve the situation. The sarcastic tone of his voice made it clear that he wasn't taking the issue seriously. His sarcastic remark about the weather made everyone laugh despite the gloomy day. Sardonic. Showing that you think you are better than other people. The comedian's sardonic wit often left the audience laughing uncomfortably. He gave a sardonic smile, not believing a word of the politician's empty promises. Her sardonic wit often made people laugh, though sometimes at their own expense. She couldn't help but respond with a sardonic comment when asked a silly question. Satiric. Criticizing people or ideas in a humorous way. The cartoonist used satiric humor to highlight the flaws in the proposed law. The satiric article cleverly mocked the absurdity of the latest political scandal. The satiric play brilliantly mocked the absurdities of modern society and politics. The movie's satiric portrayal of corporate greed resonated with audiences worldwide. Seductive. Having an often mysterious or magical power. He found her mysterious smile to be utterly seductive and hard to resist. His voice was deep and seductive, drawing everyone's attention when he spoke. The perfume had a seductive fragrance that lingered in the air long after she left. The city's nightlife had a seductive allure, tempting even the most reserved visitors. Sentimental. Displaying excessive emotion or nostalgia. The old letter held great sentimental value, reminding her of a long-lost love. She kept the locket for sentimental reasons, even though it was old and tarnished. The movie's sentimental ending brought tears to the eyes of everyone in the theater. His sentimental attachment to the family heirloom was obvious when he refused to sell it. Serene. Peaceful and calm, worried by nothing. His serene expression never changed, even in the midst of the heated debate. She felt a serene sense of calm as she watched the sunrise over the mountains. The serene scenery of the countryside brought her a much-needed sense of peace. The serene landscape provided a perfect backdrop for their quiet weekend getaway. Shocking. Causing intense surprise, disgust, horror, etc. The documentary revealed shocking truths about the factory's unethical practices. Her sudden resignation was shocking, especially considering her recent promotion. The shocking news of their sudden breakup spread quickly through the small town. The shocking news of the accident left everyone in the office speechless and concerned. Solemn. Having or showing serious purpose and determination. The solemn ceremony was a fitting tribute to those who had lost their lives. The mood at the memorial was solemn, reflecting the deep sense of loss felt by all. The ceremony was solemn, with everyone paying their respects to the fallen soldiers. He delivered the solemn news with a heavy heart, knowing it would change everything. Speculative. Based on guesses or ideas about what might happen. The book offered a speculative view of what the future might hold for humanity. The article was filled with speculative predictions about the future of technology. The speculative nature of the report made it difficult to separate facts from rumors. Investors were wary of the speculative venture, unsure of the potential risks involved. Tragic. Characterized by extreme sorrow or distress, disastrous. The play's tragic ending left the audience in tears, deeply moved by the story. The accident was a tragic reminder of the dangers that come with reckless driving. The play's tragic ending left the audience in tears, pondering life's unpredictability. Her life was marked by a series of tragic events, each more devastating than the last. Tranquil. Calm and peaceful and without noise or violence. His tranquil demeanor made him a calming presence during stressful situations. The house was in a tranquil neighborhood, far from the city's hustle and bustle. The lake was tranquil, with only the gentle ripples breaking the stillness of the water. She enjoyed the tranquil atmosphere of the library, surrounded by books and silence. Vibrant. Full of energy and life, bright and striking. The vibrant market was filled with the sounds, smells, and sights of daily life. The artist used vibrant hues to capture the energy and movement of the scene. She was known for her vibrant personality, which lit up every room she entered. The vibrant colors of the sunset painted the sky in stunning shades of orange and pink. Vindictive. Showing a strong or unreasoning desire for revenge. His vindictive actions were motivated by a desire for revenge, not justice. The villain's vindictive plan was designed to hurt those who had betrayed him. His vindictive behavior alienated friends and family, leaving him gradually isolated. The character's vindictive nature drove the plot of the novel to its dramatic conclusion. Whimsical. Playfully quaint or fanciful, capricious. Her whimsical fashion sense made her stand out in a crowd of dull colors. The book's whimsical illustrations added a magical touch to the enchanting story. The whimsical decor of the cafe made it feel like a place straight out of a fairy tale. The garden was filled with whimsical sculptures, creating a sense of wonder and joy. Zealous. Showing great enthusiasm or passion for something. The teacher's zealous approach to education energized the students to learn. His zealous approach to his work often led him to take on more than he could handle. The teacher's zealous enthusiasm for the subject inspired her students to learn more. The coach's zealous encouragement motivated the team to give their best performance.